What's going on, guys? It's Jay. Welcome back to Valyon. And today we're going to go over the backend system I decided to use for Valyon. And we're going to just have a discussion. It's going to be like a little showcase. I'm going to show you what we have, why I chose what I chose, and if you want to build something similar, how you can do that. Before we get into this video, if you want to join Valyon, if you want to become a labber, I highly recommend that you do that right now, as we're only going to accept 25 members at this $68 per month price. Then after that, it's going to be $99 per month. So if you want to have access to the courses, if you want to have access to me and the office hours we're going to be doing and all that stuff, make sure you get that now. So without further ado though, let's get into this video. The one thing you're going to notice with me is that I want a very high level of control at all times. Now what this means is, with this project, I want it to be able to do literally whatever I want it to do at any given moment and not really be, what's what I'm kind of looking for. I didn't want to have any bottlenecks. I didn't want to have any problems with trying to do something a specific way if I wanted to. So when I was kind of figuring out what I wanted to build Valyon with, that was one of the highest sort of criteria items, is that I wanted to have complete control at any time for like who can access this and things of that nature. So that leads us to what I'm about to bring up now. So the main thing behind Valyon is actually Payload. Now, if you're not familiar with what Payload is, as they quote themselves, the back end to build the modern web, and it's a CMS that's I'd say it's highly used in Next.js. Now, I know about Payload from when I was building Next.js applications. I still kind of do build Next.js applications, but I was already familiar with Payload. I knew how it worked. And Payload allows you to sort of build your own CMS with code. You're allowed to, or you're able to build the collections you want. Like if you want your users, kind of like if you're building a database, or really with pretty much any CMS system, you know how you want your user structured, how do you want your blog structured, how you want all these things structured. And they also give you access to who should access these things, like who should have read, who should have write, who should have update, things of that nature, whatever, right? So when building, or when trying to figure out what I wanted to use for Valyon, I was like, Payload is up there because this gives me control over literally anything at any point in time. So if I want to come out with a new sort of collection, I don't know, right now I have journal, I have resources, I have templates and things of that nature. Let's say something like, just throwing something random out there, something to do with AI, right? It's very easy for me to say who has access to this kind of thing. I'm not sure if I can find an example of it on their website really quickly. If not, I'll just show you kind of my project. I don't think I can find it, but yeah. So if you want complete control over your CMS, I would look at Payload. All you have to do is you just create your Next.js project. You see they have the little code snippet thing right here, and then you connect it to your backend. They currently work with Postgres, I believe, and like MongoDB. I could be wrong on that, but I've only ever dealt with them with Supabase, so Postgres. So I will actually show you what I have in the back end, and we'll actually kind of test things out. So yeah, so Payload is the main CMS that we're going with for Valyon. Now, another big tool that we're going to use in Valyon going forward is Polar. Polar is sort of a wrapper on top of Stripe that handles a lot of the management for you, and it makes it very easy to use if you are building some sort of SaaS application or membership thing. Pretty much anything that you'd want to use Stripe for, Polar just makes it easier to use and just, I guess, more intuitive. I'm not sure if that's the right word to use, but for example, let's see here. You can use it for payments for usages. So like say you have something like tokens for like AI usage or API requests, whatever you're doing, and it'll help you manage your customers and be a global merchant of record. So you don't have to focus on like tax compliance and stuff like that. It's actually a very, very, very good tool that I'm actually in talks with potentially making something happen with Polar. Hopefully that works. That works out. So now I'm bringing you inside of Polar, and you're gonna actually see I only have one thing right now, and that is the membership. So this is the actual Polar dashboard. I don't know why you just saw me holding my my chapstick, the thing, whatever. This is the actual dashboard for Polar right here. The only product that I have currently is the membership, and it just makes things super easy to do. So we can see that in this membership, right? Oh, I guess I can't show that information. Let's go back. So membership being the only product I have right now, Polar just makes it super easy to determine what sort of benefits you get from certain products, right? So if I come over to benefits, Jesus, I can't show anything. Okay, we're gonna have to blur this. But we're gonna see the only benefit I have right now is the member role in our Discord. So if you don't know, Valyon uses Discord just because I think everyone kind of is familiar with Discord, and it just makes it a lot more easier to just get into chats and things of that nature. So the way that we're going to do things, my sort of setup is Discord is going to be for like all, I just hit my mic, sorry. Discord is going to be for all the communication, and like when we do the office hours or like video calls, or we're just chilling in the lab, we just want to have like a little co-working space type of thing, we're going to be doing that in Discord. And then the website is where everything will actually live. So all the resources, all the templates, everything of that nature that you will use, all the tools, they will actually be on the website. So we're using these two software tools together. We're using Polar and we're using Payload. The way that it works is Polar is used for just authenticating the user. So if we actually go to the Valyon website right now, go over there really quickly, Valyon.io. Let me switch the scene real quick. Go over here real quickly. We'll see that the sign in button is not going to work right now, but this should take you to Polar. It's not going to work. Yeah, I know that. And then you will sign in. Okay. Now, once you're actually signed in with Polar, Payload handles everything else. So we actually have webhooks and such, which I'm going to show you in a bit. But we have webhooks and such so that when a user is created, or when they create a subscription, or they change their profile, that all gets sent to Payload. So before we get into actually looking at Payload, we're going to just talk about the little connection point with the webhooks. So if we actually look inside the project here, and we're going to go to source, we're going to go to app, we're going to go to API, webhooks, and then Polar. Let me close everything. We can see that I have this Next.js API endpoint that Polar sends the webhook events to. Now the events that we're listening to, I'm not sure all of them. Let's see. Oh, right here. So we're listening to customer created, customer updated, customer deleted, subscription created, subscription updated, order created, and order updated. And we have a little function that handles each one of these. So if I'm not used to doing this on this keyboard, does that work? There we go. We can actually see the code for the handle customer create, and it's just all it's doing is that it's just checking for members in Payload, if not creating them, and then just kind of updating their information and stuff of that nature, right? So that's the connection point. So when someone goes to the website and they sign up for Polar, or they just sign up for Polar in general for Valyon, they're going to have an account created here in Payload. So what we're going to do now is we're going to actually, I'm going to show you the Payload sort of dashboard so you can see everything that's in there. And then I'm going to swap out the keys and such that we have, and so that we can actually play around with things and not actually break anything. So yeah, that's what we'll do. So let's actually, we can actually go to the live application here, and that's currently being ran on Payload Valyon.io. So this is the Next.js project with Payload. So we can see here, gosh damn it, can I turn that off? Because that's a little bit annoying. I don't want y'all seeing all my little information, stuff like that. All right, so let's switch with Valyon. Yeah, sign in really quick. Hopefully this is my password. I don't really remember. All right, perfect. So this is our back end with Payload. As you can see, this is all the collections that we have. I'm not going to go over every one of them probably. We're just going to go over the major ones. So for admin, we have users. So this is pretty much only my accounts. If I actually open this, you'll see that it's only my account. So I'm the only sort of user admin and everyone else is members. So what we're going to see is that when people go to sign in now with Polar, that they will have a member created and that'll store all their information and stuff like that. Now, we will actually test this when I swap out the environment variable so that we can have this little test environment, such like that. If we go back, we can see that we have media, resource files, journal, resource tags, resources, courses, lessons, members, and user progress. So media is just going to be all files. And actually, I am using Bunny CDN for this. So instead of using Supabase, we are using Supabase for the database. I wanted to use Bunny CDN for all the media because it's going to be a very video heavy sort of LMS system. So now we probably won't go deep into that, but just know that for our media, I'll actually just show you really quickly. I can't show you because that'll have to be our keys here for environment variables. Where's media? So if we go to collections and where media is media, or maybe it's not. No, I'm sorry, it's a plugin. So somewhere in here, somewhere. Bunny. I'm not sure if they storage Bunny. Yeah. So we're using Bunny storage to save our media, as you see right here. So media, and then there's all our keys and such to connect to Bunny CDN. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to swap out the environment variables because I do want to actually be able to open these things and like test things out with you guys. But this is the one actually in production. So obviously we don't want to do that. So let me swap those out really quickly. I'll probably also show you what we're doing. And then, yeah, this is an example of the environment variables. So we have our database URI. So this is going to be Supabase in our case. And Payload automatically generates a payload secret. And then here, the Polar required product ID. This is for the membership ID. So that's what we're checking to see if you have a membership. And then the secret for the webhook. I'm going to actually show you all of these except for probably Bunny. But then you see for Bunny, we have the storage zone, the API key, the CDN host name, and the region, stuff like that. And then we're also using PostHog for like analytics and tracking errors and stuff like that. But we won't really even get into that. So let's actually swap out the database first. We'll create a new project. Valyon YT. I'll generate this password and I will copy it because we will need that. Create that. And I'm going to go ahead. Let me just duplicate this really quickly. Can I not duplicate? All right, let's paste that there. Let me just swap these out really quickly. I go to connect. I need this one right here. I'm going to paste that there. Copy my password. Hello secret. I'm just gonna make some random one. And then we're gonna go to Polar, or the sandbox for Polar. And here's the Valyon sort of sandbox for Polar. And we're going to go to get the product ID. So I should have something similar to membership. Yeah. We're just going to copy that product ID. We're going to paste that there. And I think I already have a webhook already in here. Yeah. So we already have a webhook in here. So I'm just going to copy that secret. I don't really care if you guys see this. I'll just reset it after. Okay. So let's actually see if we can run this now. Okay, it did do the local. Let's go ahead and open this really quickly. And it should take me to create my first user if we did everything correctly. Yeah, okay, so it's asking us to create our first user, so things should be right over here in Supabase. We can actually test this or see if we actually refresh this and I go to my new schema, which there should be one for payload. There it is. And these are all the payload database tables, and that's the reason I put them in a separate schema, because there's so many and I'd rather not see all of those. So we have a separate schema for payload. So we can create our first user. J at Valyon.io. Password, I'm going to do the super secure password of password, and we're going to do J Campbell. All right, so now this one we can actually play with. What we'll do is I'll actually show you what happens when when someone signs up for Polar. So to do that, I am going to have to expose our project here so that we can access in the traffic. Cloudflare tunnel URL localhost 3000. I think that's correct. Yep, and that gives us a little tunnel URL here so that I can go here, paste that here, and save. So now all these events should actually be received here. So I want to show you guys when this happens. Let's go to Polar here, and I do have a few customers. Now I don't want to delete them. I think we have user deleted, but you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. See, are we handling user deleted? No, I've been sitting here wondering why the hell this stuff is not working. I'm messing with my code. Come to find out, I'm just an idiot. And I forgot to do /API/webhooks/polar here and then save that. Okay, now we are no longer idiot. Let me actually just close this really quickly. Now that everything should be working correctly now. Oh, looks like it still did it anyways. Let's see. So now if we did J Campbell and J at Valyon.io and show you this, we'll go like boop, go here. You'll see that we get the user created right there and created member 1 for Polar customer, whatever that is. And that ID ending in 66F should be the same one right here. Yep, 66F like that. So now we can come over to, that's the deployed one, this one. We can go to members here and we should have J at Valyon.io. Sorry, this one takes a second to load. There we go. And we can see right now we have no subscription status and it was created just now. So if I open this now, it's going to have a lot of information from Polar. I should lock this down because I don't want to change that. We have a Polar connected Boolean, their subscription status, what they're subscribed to, and then I will eventually add it so that you can have a bio, time zone, things like that, and whatever emails you want to be notified with, as well as your last login and any enrolled courses and completed courses. So this is just a view that I can see really quickly of each individual member. Let's go ahead now and we'll actually subscribe. So I'm going to go and get a checkout link right here. We're just open to the new tab. We're just do the same email and we're going to enter fake data like so. Okay, so we'll bring this now over again. You can see, oh, we got a few errors there. But we can see that it's updating the member and we're just firing off the different events to basically update this in Payload. And I will see that if I refresh here, we'll refresh, we can see that they now have the active subscription status and we can see that they are subscribed to this product here. So now if we go to members, you can see that we now have active. All right, nice. Name, I don't know why that's 1, being honest with you. Is that what I put for my name? Let me go back to that. That's okay. No, that is Mac. Okay, that's awkward. J Campbell, and this should fire the update event. If I fire that, yep, that fire the customer updated event. If we go back over here and we refresh, you see now we have J Campbell. So that's how I wanted Polar to sort of sync with Payload, so that the user would be managed in Polar and the authentication would be managed in Polar, and then Payload is used for everything else. So what I can then do is then, let's say I want to have a course. I can come here and I can create a new course, and let's go ahead and say that we're going to have a Nordcraft course. I can give it a description, a short description, things of that nature, thumbnails. Now, this is, like I said, this is using Bunny CDN for all media. So let's actually go to Unsplash real quick, and we can get some random one. Let's get this one right here. I'll put this in a new tab, and I'll do that. And we can go to thumbnail here and create new media. We should be able to use a link like so. Oh, I should have to do a bottom. I don't know what to call that. We'll save that. There we go. And then if I go to Bunny CDN, I'm going to do this on a different screen. I'm not sure what it's going to show. Okay. Here we have Bunny CDN, the little storage zone for Valyon. I can go in here into media, and you can see that is the picture of that little autumn one that we just uploaded, right? And then instructor is going to be me. And then here I can set the access type. So this is why I really wanted to use Payload, because I can have all these different things that I can check for if you should have access. So if I come over here, and this is for the courses collection. So if we go to collections and we go to courses, so here's the access control for the courses. And what this is doing is it's checking for your access. So we can see that if it's free or if it's paid or things of that nature, and if you are subscribed or not. And then if you are subscribed and it's not locked, then it's going to give you access to all the lessons, also depending on whether the lesson is free or paid. Just so like I can have like sort of like what you see on like Udemy or things of that nature, where you can have like this brief introduction sort of section that's free, that's like an overview, maybe like one lesson, right? And that'll be like the first section, and then everything else be locked. So if we go over back to courses here, we can see that I can have sections and say I want to do a introduction, right? And we can give this a description and stuff like that. And for access type, I can say inherit from course, or I can say free. Now, inherit from course, so if I set this to membership like so, this entire course is, you have to have the membership to access it, but I can set the introduction to say free preview like so. And then I can have a lesson. So I can come here and I can go like this, and we can add a lesson like Nordcraft, the introduction, something like that. And I can create a video file, things of that nature, duration things, and have like thumbnails and transcripts, notes, all of these beautiful things, and even enable quizzes and stuff like that. And we can publish those. Oh, I gotta select the course, Nordcraft. That's a 0. Sorry, 1, and I don't know, just 1. Well, I can't create one because I don't have an actual video file, but just pretend that I created a video file, right? Or a lesson there. And then the total duration and the total lessons, that will be taken automatically. We can have a difficulty, like say intermediate, and I can have any tags if I want, but I don't have any tags at the moment. We could also have prerequisites. It's going to be a pretty complex system, I'm not going to lie to you. And I just wanted to make sure that I had complete control over all of it. So now, to access this data in Nordcraft, it's very simple. We can either use the REST API or we can use GraphQL. So if we come over here to API, and I haven't published these, so we'll do draft, we can see that this is the information that we would get back. This has all the data. As you can see, there's that first section for introduction. I'll zoom in case you can't see it well. In sections, we can see that there is that introduction section, right? And lessons is the ID of 1, and we didn't actually create that lesson fully, so there's nothing there. But yeah, so that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Don't really know what else to show you. I think that's kind of the main parts of it. So like if I go to journal, we can create a new journal, and I can do like whatever the date is, or I guess I don't have to do that, but journal entry, and then we can write this is the content, right? Oops, what is that? And then we can publish that, or nothing. Then we can publish that. Then we can come over to the API, and we can see that this is the data that we're going to get back. Let's see, resource files, that's self-explanatory. Resource tags, this would be things like Nordcraft. So I can come here and be like Nordcraft and save that. And then we can go to like a resource, create a new resource, and author would be me. We'll set this to like the template that I'm about to release, like my RW template, stands for Riseware, my company. And here we have access to those tags. So there's Nordcraft, and you can just set all this information, things of that nature, and publish that. Then again, well, let's make this subscribers only. And then again, just API, and we get all that information. So that is the back end for Valyon in a nutshell. So if you found this video helpful, if you learned anything from this video, do me a solid and subscribe to the channel. Comment on what you'd like to see more of, and make sure to like this video to help me out with the YouTube algorithm. And again, make sure if you want to become a lab rat, if you want to join Valyon, go ahead and click the first link in the description. That'll take you to the page where you can sign up for $68 per month instead of the $99 per month that we're going to have once we are over 25 members. Make sure that you are in there now, because the ones that are in there now, they're going to kind of help what happens, or kind of help shape what happens in the future. And you're going to have a lot of benefits if you do subscribe at this earlier stage. Do yourself that solid. If you do need help with building anything app related, we're also going to be getting into AI and data and all that stuff of that nature. So if that's anything that might interest you, make sure that you subscribe to that now. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, until next time, happy building.